Welcome back to another episode of the Unlimited Groomer, where we are not just touching on wealth consciousness, which is a foreign term in a lot of grooming worlds, but also mindset in general, business savvy tips, and other really inspiring stories from groomers like you, as well as other industries that we can really benefit from. And I'm super jazzed that this is the direction that this podcast is going this year. And today is extra exciting because it is our first groomer that I'm talking to of 2025. And she's super special. She's a local groomer here in Buffalo, like me. And she's got a really inspiring story. I'll let her tell it. But some really cool things that you're going to hear about in today's podcast is not just how she got started. She's a newer groomer, but she's a force to be reckoned with, and she's starting something new for our industry, period. And it's coming up next month. So a lot of people don't love coming to Buffalo in the winter. You got to see it. You got to experience it once in your life. And it's definitely worth the trip out here for the event, for the charities that we've got going on, all these kind of things. So I would like you to welcome Janelle Bonadonna Millard. She's a groomer, she is a treat maker, and now she's in event production, all of the things. So welcome to the Unlimited Groomer.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. So I guess to start, we'll start how I got into everything. So in 2014, I have ulcerative colitis, and I was actually diagnosed, 20 some years ago with it. But in 2014, I ended up getting into a really, really bad flare. And I ended up having, my husband and I decided that the best thing for me was to not work anymore, because it was just disrupting. Anybody who has the anything that has to do with ulcerative colitis or Crohn's can relate to this. Disrupting, your daily living and work and everything like that. So we decided that, it'd be best for my health to stay at home, and which was an actual great decision. So as about 6 or 7 years went by, I was fighting with this illness, and my body was rejecting all medications. So I was going through that. In 2017, 18-ish, I started feeling a little bit better. And I'm like, I'm not the type of person that, like, I want my own money. I wanted to help out with things around the house. And, so thankful and blessed that my husband, we're in a position that he's able to, we were able to make it work and everything. But I knew that I could not go back into the corporate world. I was a mortgage processor for 20 years prior to that. And I'm like, this just is not going to work with my health. I need to, be at home. I need, if I need to rest, that's what I need to do. So I started I always loved dogs. I always, just loved being with them. Always had one. I had the 3 cats at the time, and I actually started out making cat treats because you probably,
I thought it was dog treats. That's awesome.
Well,
how many people make cat treats?
So I started with cats, but then it wasn't going so well, and everybody was like, well, my cat's too finicky, they're not going to eat that.
Fair.
And I
was gonna say, that was bold.
Yes, you understand. I mean, one day my cats would eat it, and the next day they wouldn't. So, my sister-in-law was actually, she had rescues she still does have rescues. She was like, can you make me some dog treats? I'm like, sure. Well, and it just started going. So that was the path I was on. And I just started doing some events here and there, some little farmers markets and stuff like that. Started selling in some stores. Then I got my rescue, Louis Calzone, and I was like, I want to groom him. I'm like, I don't want anybody else grooming him. I always had other groomers grooming my other dogs, which they did fantastic, and I loved them and everything. But the lady that I always had, she ended up retiring and selling her place, and nothing wrong with that. And So I just wanted to groom my own dog. So actually I got set up with an internship. I was taught through that, and then Hershey was coming up, and I'm like, I gotta go to Hershey. I'm like, I've gotta go. I've gotta see what this is about. I've gotta.
Real quick,
Yeah.
how did you hear about Hershey? Because I know lots of groomers don't even know that there's continuing education out there. Like I was 8 years into my career before I knew.
So actually the girl that was interning me, that I did my internship,
Okay.
her and another one, they kept, being like, oh, you should check out Hershey, you should check out Hershey,
Okay.
if you can go. So I was like, okay. And yes, that is very true. I actually just had a conversation with people yesterday at a corporate store, and they were well, this is going into a different direction, but they were totally like, this is amazing. They never heard of Hershey or Barkley. They're like, we're just capped at our education at where we are. We don't know what to do, where to go. So they were
Yeah.
like, Petpalooza, awesome. So went to Hershey, long story short, and I was like, this is amazing. I just, it was awesome. I knew, like, I was 44 years old when I found my path. And yeah, like this,
So great.
yeah, this is where I was supposed to be, of grooming and everything. And then Hershey just like totally just like it just all came together for me. And I was just like, like that, oh, moment. And
Yeah.
it was just like, wow. And I heard a lot of groomers talking about, we need an event here. I want to do it. I want classes here, this and that. So me being such a new groomer, I was like, I'm going to sit back, see what happens, see if anybody does anything. So now 2 years into my grooming, still not a professional or seasoned, still, learning, still doing continuing education. I'm always going to do continuing education.
You can still be a professional and be new. You might not be a master, but you're a professional. If you make money and this is what you do, you have a passion for it, you give advice, which you do, you're a professional. Don't take that away from yourself. We got to stop doing that as an industry. Ladies,
True.
Gentlemen, knock it off. If this is what you do for a living, unless you're being completely unprofessional,
no. No, I'm not unprofessional. I will tell you that, but I like how you used master. So those were excellent words. And it was an excellent way to differentiate. So I am not a master, but I am a professional.
Everybody else, real quick, say it in the car with us. I'm not necessarily a master, but I am a professional.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I just kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look into this. And one thing just kind of started falling into place after another, after another, after another, and it just kept growing and growing. And so now here I am with a whole plethora of angles and things going on at Petpalooza, which is just crazy, but it kind of incorporates all of me into one spot. And I know it's a lot for Buffalo. Buffalo has not seen anything like this.
No. Real quick, so Petpalooza is the big announcement. That is what she is taking on. So okay, she's in her 40s. So for all of you, I'm too old, I don't want to hear it. She's in her 40s. We all have something going on in our lives that's a pain in our bodies, literally or figuratively. She's got that going on. She discovered her passion late in life. And she's like, I'm not stopping there. There's a need. I don't have it. It doesn't exist. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go do it. So, hi, here's your wake up call. If you're looking for a sign to start your own business, to start something new, here it is. Here it is. Janelle and I give you permission. Like, go freaking do it. So, Petpalooza is Western New York's, Buffalo's first ever, planning to be annual, not just convention for groomers, but other pet professionals and pet parents. I love this. And we'll talk about every section because you said angles. You have so many different angles going on at this. Like she basically took what all the other big ones are doing, you know, Barkley, RW, GroomX, Groomed, all of that. She basically took all of that and then zhuzhed it up with about 5 tons more steroids between charity events, competitions. Sorry, I'm excited. I will let you talk about all that, but like, there's so much for this. It is not just, I mean, this is by no means, even though it's being hosted in Buffalo, it's not a local scale event. We have some really massive, she has some really massive names that are coming that, let's face it, if you're not going for the continuing education, you're going for the trade show deals. And some really big names are going to be at this trade show, as well as all the other great things that, you know, we love getting to meet your favorite groomers and interact and build that camaraderie, which our community is so lacking in, which that's something we talked about earlier. We should definitely bring up as well. But so tell us a little bit, like, so you basically were just like, all right, it doesn't exist. I want it. Screw it. I'm making it happen myself.
Basically.
So before we jump into all of the things, because I kind of did some spoiler alerts, but like, how did it evolve into what it's become? And how did you go about it? Because so many times people are so afraid. I mean, it's impressive to hear like, wow, you just decided to create this thing. Holy crap. But then even if people do start to think about what is the next step, where do I go next? All of a sudden it becomes overwhelming and people stop right there. So and gumption and personality is definitely one aspect of it. But I know when we first met, you were like, this, and then, okay, yeah, maybe that's the next thing. So like, how did you find the fortitude? Where did you start? How did you get it going? Tell me all the things. Dish.
So like I said, people were talking about it and I got tired of waiting around for it.
Yeah.
I'm impatient and I understand that not everybody has the means to travel, even if it is a 5-hour drive to Hershey. That still can be a huge ordeal for some people, whether it be because of family, you know, children, dogs, cats, sick parents, financials, your own health, anxiety, anything. It can be a huge thing. So it's like, why not see what I can do to bring it here for people? So there was that, the education of that. I mean, what's wrong with learning more? There's nothing wrong with learning more. Even if you already know it and you're sitting in the class and you learn one little tidbit, you know what? It was worth it because it's one little tiny thing that you know that you didn't know. And maybe that's one tiny thing that actually changes somebody's life, you know, or somebody's way that they groom. So I was kind of like that. And then I started thinking about pet parents. I have my dog and I'm in a totally different space than I was with my other dogs in life. The world of dogs and pets has completely changed from 15 years ago. Pets were still pets and it was still just coming around that they have to, you know, they're more than pets, they're family members from 15 years ago. And now it's like they are, I mean, I don't have children, so my pets are my children. And I mean, I work for my pets literally. and so I was just like, and I saw people when I go out with my dog, I saw people not having the proper etiquette, and that kind of really irked me. And also being a groomer and educating my clients on how to brush your doodle. You want to clip your dog's nails at home, okay, that's great, let me show you how to do it. You know, you want to, you know, shave your dog's paw pads at home, fine with me. But you know what, there's a tendon in there you got to watch out for. There's, you know, this is why you're shaving them, this is, you know, the how, why. And you know, there's more anatomy into grooming than just cutting your dog, so, and cats. I don't groom cats, but so, but we do
call you smart.
yeah, but we do have somebody that is going to be there, and they're teaching 2 classes on how to groom cats. So if you're interested,
She's pretty well known too. So
yeah. Yes, it's
she
becoming a lot bigger thing, the cats, than in the past 2 years that I've been around, seeing it more and more.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the pet parent classes. And then
And I will, just to that point, I mean, let's face it, we all face that, right? Like, we're their groomer, but suddenly we're asked nutritional questions and veterinary questions and all this stuff. And so, we tend to pick things up and we're always giving advice. But like, one of the things I see a lot on social media is, how do I teach? Somebody actually recently posted, like, does anybody else teach pet parents, and how do you do it? And it was very vague. So it wasn't like, is this like a one-on-one, like, hey, here's your dog, by the way? Or is this like, hey, I want to host a seminar or whatnot? And the reason this should be important to everybody is, even if you were to go to where the pet parents are being taught by a groomer, whoever that is, it's good for you to go to see how it's being communicated, because we as groomers sometimes are too close to the situation and we say things assuming the owner understands what the heck we're talking about. Like, brush your doodle, brush your dog. Well, unless you're showing them how, and you're showing them how to brush and comb, that's where that disconnect is. And the clients are like, I swear to everything possible, I am brushing, right? So it's these little things that we're too close to the situation to be able to think clearly and speak in a connected way. So if some of you were listening and just kind of like zoned out about like, I'm a groomer, I don't need to know about the pet, you might, if you get asked questions that you have to answer to the pet parent. So Janelle had a perfect idea to marry these two together. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, because, well, like you said, it's like you go to the doctor and the doctor's speaking a different language than what you understand. And you're like, can you speak in my language, please? I don't know what that means. So if we get caught up into the day-to-day, the rush, and, just trying to, do things and make sure that the dog's comfortable. Like you said, and peers, parents, you got to remember, they're in a different world. They might be coming from the corporate world. They might be coming from, wherever. Their mind isn't on line brushing, and breaking it down. So that, we totally have to just like, just take a step back, take a breath, and be like, okay, lift the right leg up to get inside the left leg, So, there's been a couple parents that I've said that to, and they're like, oh, that's how you get it in there. And it's like, yeah, but I remember, because like I said, I'm a young groomer. I, recently started. I did it, and I think back to 2.5 years ago. I didn't know either. I'm like just trying to get in there, and so that's where the pet parents came into, and we have actually dog trainer, behaviorist, and nutritionists are going to be there. Vet techs. We're doing an open round table. So for the parents, that they can come and just sit down and talk and ask the questions that they want to ask, and no judgment, and, let's just talk and, figure it out. We have classes for doodles. We have reactive rower if your dog is reactive, and, most popular, I don't want to say popular, but most common training issues that you're having. The trainer and behaviorist is going to go over that stuff. There's so many different things that, for parents. And then, of course, the groomers, pet professionals, we have our CPR first aid class. We have Cassandra's teaching a couple business classes, and, we have Annie Francis coming in, who was on the USA groom team. She's doing a doodle and poodle class. We have other local groomers that want to get more or start their teaching career. And I was like, what better place to start than right here, right now? Bills, sorry.
Oh man, yay. Yeah, yeah, go Bills.
Gotta go Bills in Buffalo. But what better place to really get your feet wet and start than at home in your own community, cheering you on. So,
And one thing I will say to your credit, for those who don't know Janelle, almost everything that, at least everything that I know that you've done, has started not just heart centric, but like organization. Like you give back. In fact, how I first found out about you before we ever connected was I saw you on the news. You had your Need and Treat business, and you were talking about raising money for Roswell, which is a top cancer research institution in the country. We have it right here in our own backyard. And I think you have a personal connection with that as well. I think your mom, was it?
So yeah, so my mother had breast cancer. My father had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and is now going through prostate cancer. So we do have a direct connection with Roswell, and I do a lot of volunteer work. My dog, Louis Calzone, is actually the youngest and smallest therapy dog for Roswell. So we go in there a couple times, once to 2 times a month, and visit the patients, and he loves it. And I'm a partner with Roswell, so any events that I do with my treats, I sell cookies, dog treats, and a portion of the proceeds goes to Roswell, because obviously Roswell has saved both of my parents' lives, and we've gotten a lot more time and Sunday dinners together. And I want to be able to do that for other families, to continue the research to get that. So
I love that. And that's one of the things I really admire about you is, one of my friends recently said, Chris, actually, she was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Well, it hasn't been published yet, but at the time that this is published, it was a couple weeks ago. And she had mentioned once about there's 3 ways to give. There's with your money, there's with your goods or services, and then there's with your time. And so many of us feel so compelled we want to give in some way, shape, or form, but we usually only think monetarily. And you're able to do things that kind of combine all of that. And I think that is just so admirable. And, there's so many ways that we as groomers can give back to the local communities in whatever fashion. I mean, most of the time we think pet centric, but you think of what's important to me. And the reason I bring all this up is because you just said about, other local groomers wanting to kickstart their careers and try this. And that's just like, you're so big hearted to say like, okay, well, I'm doing a thing. Let's bring everybody on board. And that is, I don't even think the people who are involved in this, because I'm in the group chats, and I don't think the people who are involved even fully, maybe they do, but I don't think they grasp the magnitude of what you're actually doing, because I don't know about other grooming communities. Some of my groomer friends out in California, we were talking about this recently. It's so isolating, and we kind of do it to ourselves, whether it's seeing each other as competitors or whatnot. And I don't know if you've ever had an experience in your life where you wanted to do something and your significant other or your family or your best friends either completely didn't support you, they didn't believe in you or whatever, or they're like, yeah, go do that. Oh, I'm not going to use your services, but like, yeah, like go for it. And we've been kind of experiencing a little bit of that in the grooming community locally, which is the entire reason you're doing it, is for local groomers. And I know some of the feedback you had mentioned to me earlier, it was like, we don't like some of the classes or whatnot, but think about all the other people that Janelle just mentioned who are coming to this event. Now, the trainers, the nutritionists, the vet techs, when was the last time you as a groomer sat down with one of them and picked their brain so that you can bring better education to your clients and have better knowledge? Like, when was the last time anyone of you did that? Have you ever picked up the phone and been like, hey, I want to meet a vet tech. I have some questions. Anyone want to go for coffee? Like, that doesn't happen. And it's not just about the classes that are at these events. It's about the connections and community. I mean, I'm building really great friendships with people all across the country that I met at Intergroom in New Jersey 3-4 years ago.
Mhm.
It's about that, and it's what can we do together. And so it's so much more than just this limited thinking. So I just want to put that out there for anyone who's in a community, whether it's a large one like Buffalo or a small, rinky-dink town. It You're not alone. First off, like, there's always going to be pushback, especially if something's new and different, even though people have been clamoring that they want it.
Mhm.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what have been some of the resistance that you've shockingly found in the community? And for anyone who is listening to this, who was one of those resistors, I hope maybe this kind of spins it around. Like, it's not just about that. It's about everything else that you can get out of it. And trust me, I don't think I've seen the prices because I'm part of it. So didn't look at ticket prices, but prices. Yeah, that's okay. But I can't imagine, especially being local, it's what the investment is of some of the big game players out there. Like, this is a steal for anybody, even if you are flying in from out of town. So what's been going on, Janelle?
Well, first of all, a lot of the feedback has been that the pricing of the classes has been too high.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes.
What is it? Just
Well, so it was almost $400 for a 2-day full class pass. You have 19 classes
wow.
that you can pick from, and you have 2 days of the vendor show for free in there. Plus, we have giveaways. We're also giving some proceeds, not just to Roswell. We're doing a contest for local rescues. We're
I
doing
love
Yeah, we're also doing have Sweet Buffalo Rocks in there. So we're going to be bringing children in need, so that, smiles, so we're donating some of that also to those 3 local charities.
that.
Yeah, there's just more going on. We have the competition. I am so we were getting pushback on the pricing with that. So I went ahead and I lowered the prices.
Okay.
And on top of that, I'm also giving a 15% discount. If you have a group of 3 or more that want to come to the classes, whether if you're a pet parent, pet professional, pet lover, or just want to see a groomer, or just, whatever, vet tech, whatever, if you're in, just want to come and see what's going on with the classes, and 3 of you get in touch with me, and I might be able to give you an even bigger discount.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
The
so
big
I mean,
players don't do that. And real quick on the ticket price too, I'll just put my hand up. I'm the most expensive groomer in the city. And some people, groomers as well, look at me and are like, how freaking dare she? Like, that's ridiculous what she charges. The difference, especially for newer groomers out here, so all of you struggling to raise your prices, listen up. There's been a wage stagnation in our industry for over 2 decades. It's long overdue. Everything else in the world has gone up, and we maybe raise our prices $5 to $10. The people who are able to afford staying in business are the ones who have been in business for the past 20, 30, 40 years. Everything's paid for. They own the building, or it's out of their house for the most part. I know there's lots of exceptions out there, but the point being, every small business has to charge more because we don't have the volume. At my other half, he's a master plumber. It's hard for him to charge around the same rates as the other competitors because he has to stay relative. But lucky for him, most people in the plumbing business, unless they're like Mr. Plumber or something, they're all pretty much like small businesses. So it's kind of in the same realm. When one of us rises, it's not to put down other people. It's an invitation for everyone else to rise up as well. Then there won't be groomer hoppers because we're all around the same price. So all of that tying in, even if this price just like shocked you, it shouldn't, because of all the generous ways that money is being put to use. You get out of it what you make it, right? And if you put that money into, we got to stop thinking about spending money, and we have to start thinking about investing. Like Janelle said earlier, if you picked up one thing from a class that completely changed the way you do your business, that one thing could have been worth the price of admission. And then you accordingly raise your prices, or because you're raising your standards. As your standards raise, so should your prices. So if you are investing in yourself, myself and a lot of friends, we set a budget every year for what we're investing in personal development, because that's important. Whether it's career, personal, whatnot, we need to keep growing. And that cool thing about being business owners is if we're going to a conference, that's a tax write-off. And if you don't know about that, you really need a new accountant. So I just wanted to put that blurb out there, because that is well worth and beyond the price of admission. Not only the vendors you've got, not just vendors for us as groomers. I know some of the other vendors that I've connected you with that are doing really cool things that have nothing to do with grooming, and kind of refreshing. Like, haven't you noticed that we flock to like the brands that we like, that we purchase from, but by and large, a lot of the vendors at grooming shows are the ones that aren't totally related directly to what we do. Mm-hmm. They're always like the apparel or the massage or the jewelry. They're always like, people are excited because what is this new thing that I can do?
Yeah. So, let's see. First off, as for the pricing, yeah. So I did lower the pricing. And I am funding this myself, where almost all the other shows are backed by Barkley and these big companies. I'm funding this myself. I am hoping to break even, which that's what my hope is. Sure. But to be honest with you, everything's going to charities. I got 3 different charities, and that's what it's going for. The pricing, like I said, I significantly lowered the classes. We are doing free vendor show. We're having giveaways and stuff like that. That's what it is. But we have other ways that we're also going to be contributing, to the charities. That's what this is really about, and educating our community. And our community, I'm not saying just here in Buffalo, because to be honest with you, I have right now a lot more participation from out of the Buffalo. I have from Erie, I have from Long Island, I have Illinois, I have Canada. A lot of people coming. And to be honest with you, the Buffalo is not up there yet. So come on, guys, Buffalo
rally
represent here. So that's what I'm hoping for. But just so everybody knows, now to the vendors, we again have people coming in from all over. We have Whitman's, I think they're from Illinois. We have Beebold Shears from New York City, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We have BioGroom. Les Pooch can't make it, but they are sponsoring.
I love their brushes so much.
I got their new detangler or de-shedding brush, and yes, I love it. We have a lot coming in. I have people coming in from Rochester and Syracuse selling dog treats, and Ellicottville epoxy, stuff. So we have Finessed Beauty, who is actually, you may have seen this. We posted online. They're going to be doing fine line tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The theme is, like dogs. You can get dog ears.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Too. Paw prints. She came up with 4 different flash pages you can choose from. And if you want something specific, she can do it up, and you can make an appointment with her, however she wants to do it, whether it be at the show or outside of the show, if you want something more detailed. We have a permanent jeweler, Alchemy Links, that's coming, who is doing soul jewelry. You know how you have used your soul pet? so she is taking the permanent jewelry, and she came up with some charms and some different ideas of putting the birthstone and a charm together for you, and then some stuff for the dog to put on their collar. So you and your dog are connected through, the
Oh,
stones and everything. Um,
Carly's so brilliant. She's actually going to be on next week. I'm so happy. I was like, I grilled her when, shortly after her and I met, I was like, uh, can you do dog collars? You like, how does this work with permanent jewelry? Like, we were kind
yeah.
of joking around about some things. So I'm so excited. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have other things than just, our grooming, Whitmans. Although all our groomers, we love, our Whitmans and everything. But there's other stuff for, the public, for, the parents and everything too. And groomers, if you need your shears and your blades sharpened, we have Ryan Casey, who is going to be there sharpening, so you can bring your stuff and he will sharpen things up for you. So yeah, that's awesome. We have like 50 plus vendors that are going to be there. We're going to have different drinks. We have the cat's meow cocktail and puppy punch, and yeah, there's going to be food that you can purchase. And then Saturday night after the competitions, which we have 4 pre-groom competitions, where you pre-groom at, whether I have people coming in from Victor, New York, that are got a pet friendly hotel and are going to be grooming in the hotel. And then they're actually some are grooming in the hotel, and then Jackie Antonelli, one of our other teachers who's teaching the cat classes, offered her salon for some people to use too. Yeah, so that's another place that you could look at if you need it, for pre-groomed. And then you come there. We have 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and then what is it? Creative, or we have abstract runway, we have creative runway, we have freestyle and model dog. And then yeah, so pre-groomed, bring your dog. And then Nicole Beckham, international award winning creative and abstract artist, is going to be judging. Master groomer Jessica, I'm sorry, Jessica, I cannot say your last name correctly, but it's Azit, I believe. She's master groomer. She's taught at Hershey and all over also. She's going to be judging Sunday. So yeah, we're really excited about those. Saturday night mingle, Hamburg Brewery. Let's see, I think we have other things going. Oh, the last thing is with Channel 4, we have a fashion show contest going on. So you just submit your photo to Channel 4. I know there's so much, and there's so much. You submit your photo to Channel 4, and Channel 4 is going to pick the top 5, and then the top 5 are going to come to the show on Sunday afternoon, and they get to walk the runway, and then the audience is going to pick who the winner is. And yeah, so
And what is so the categories for the competition again are,
yeah,
you said model dog,
yeah,
creative,
yeah. Abstract,
abstract.
and freestyle, salon freestyle.
Okay, so for the Channel 4 competition, is it part of that, or is this just like pet parents, or?
It's anybody. The fashion show is for anybody. So you just want to submit your picture of your dog dressed up in their favorite fashion. And then you can go right on to WIVB.com under community and then contests, and you submit your picture. And then at the end, it closes out February 12th. And Channel 4 is going to pick the top 5. Then we will invite them to come Sunday. And if there's no other big news coming on, Channel 4 is going to come and do a story on the dogs, and the dogs will get to walk the runway, and yeah, then see who the winner is.
So let me ask you this, because that's just appealing to anyone and everyone. Everyone has the cutest dog and everyone's right.
Yeah.
Will, since this is a local news station, but are they taking submissions from outside of Buffalo? So if somebody watching this in Kentucky is like, no, my dog's the cutest, I'm going to Buffalo, will they accept that submission?
Yes, they will accept this submission. So
everyone's allowed.
Yes, anybody's allowed. Here's the glitch though. Unfortunately, where the venue is, Michael's Banquets, we cannot, it is not pet. We cannot bring our pets in. Only service animals are allowed. We have one room that is designated for the competition, for the demos, for the fashion show. There's a separate entrance for these dogs to enter and exit that will be clearly marked. So you cannot walk around with your pet. However, if you are coming from out of state or town or whatever with your dog, we have plenty of doggy daycares around here that are willing to accommodate. I know K9 Barks and Brews is somebody you can get in touch with that is willing to work things out. So you can bring your dog in for the competition afterwards, drop your dog off, Saturday and they're open, and they go to doggy daycare and come back to the show for a little bit, go back, pick up your dog. So your dog doesn't have to sit in the hotel room by themselves. So,
and I think most people, I mean, Hershey's that way. And I think most of the places that I've gone to, because I've been to several all over, it's pretty much standard for places. It's like, they're typically not pet friendly, but they make an exception for show specifics. And the facility is I love that there's one specific entrance for that, because I don't know if you were at Hershey this past year, but there was this whole ordeal with a couple German Shepherds that came in that were dog aggressive, and the owners could not handle them, and they even went after one of the competition dogs. And there were just so many more, and they weren't even wearing those service vests. They were just there. And even though it's the place's policy, nobody was following up on it. So even to have like, this is the only place that you're allowed to go in and out. Honestly, it's on the venue. Love Hershey. But like, I appreciate, and I know that there were, I mean, in the post Hershey Expo chat, everything, so many people were talking about like, it was crazy how, all this was going on. So it's really important to everybody, for pet parents, for groomers, for competitors, for attendees, that things are like that. I know it's nothing, it's a safety regulation is 100% what it is. Dogs who go to shows tend to be more accustomed to that. So that is why they're allowed to go. Service dogs are more accustomed to that. That is why they're allowed to go. Pets that you want to bring with you but aren't accustomed to that don't fit in the mix. So it makes perfect sense. Like,
yeah. Well, and not to go back, but to go back to pet parent classes and teaching more of the etiquette, and I mean, even just in general, I shouldn't just say pet parents, but we're all pet parents. Well, not everybody, but but I mean, there is an etiquette, you can have, like you said, back to the reactive rover that Kaylee from K9 Cutters is going to be teaching. You can have a dog that is just timid and scared, and then walking by, you have this dog that is just, barking and everything. You need to know how to handle, things, and you're out in the street, anything can happen. It can be a Shih Tzu, it can be a Collie, it can be a Terrier, whatever, and not, anything. You never know. These are still animals. They're still descendants from the wolf, and
And that's, I mean, well, sorry. One of the classes that I'll be teaching there is the pet parent canine class, but I urge none. Well, not. He said not. We're all pet parents. I encourage not just pet parents who are not in the profession to come. I encourage everybody to come. Not only will you learn how to talk to other people, but like even grooming etiquette, like you're talking about as pet parents walking on the street, little things that teaching your puppy to know, or as groomers, working with the dogs, teaching them, training them, cooperative care, not just like, okay, come come on, do the thing, working
yeah.
with them, getting their cues. I actually learned this from a client of mine. So I groom a lot of Newfoundlands and Landseers, like just gigantic beasts.
Hmm.
I intend to not use my spine ever soon, apparently. But no, just kidding. But my client, so I groom AKC champions and grand champions, and one of the things that she mentioned early on was she teaches them around. And one of the local groomers out here, kind of famous, she made a comment. She's like, I don't know how the Newfie groomer does it because I do not have 360-degree access. And even if I did, teaching these dogs how to turn around or how to give paw or how to sit will make your life as a groomer exponentially easier, to get that cooperation. So yeah, just like what you're saying, like learn from the trainers, learn from the fear-free people, learn
Yeah.
from all these people. And again, Petpalooza is such a beautiful way to
Yeah.
get all that exposure in one. There's veterinary conventions, there's dermatological conventions,
Yep.
there's group. I've never once seen a convention where you're putting all of these professions and more that we all benefit from learning together. I guarantee you the trainers, the nutritionists are going to come out of here with more knowledge as well from us. And I'm not talking about like you and me. I'm talking about local groomers or groomers who are just attending. Like we
Yeah.
all have something to give and we all have something to learn. And this is such an amazing, beautiful thing to
Yeah.
bring it all together. Like, girl, my hat's off to you. Like,
Thank you.
this is such an undertaking, and I'm so glad somebody's doing it, and I'm glad it's you. I'm glad it's local.
It's a lot. We're all, yeah, we are. We're all in it together. We're all working and are all the end goal is to give all of these animals, whether if they're breeder, rescue, whatever, to give their best life. And that's the end goal of this. And we are all in it together. So why not share the education to help each other out? And maybe something that like you said, nutrition teaches me can make my job easier. Maybe something I teach them, or the trainer, or the vet tech, or the this, we all have the same end goal. Why not bring it together? We're all one community. So that's where I was like, why butt heads with one another? It just doesn't make sense to me. So you want to be a part of it, great. Everybody is welcome. I want everybody there. I want us all to be a community in this. So
100%. I mean, I talk to my clients, especially when I do grooming rehab. I
yeah.
tell them, you know how you hear like it takes a village to raise a child? It takes a village to properly raise and care for a dog, or in some situations, cats. Like you do need your basic, and like you said, at the end of the day, they're still animals. I had an amazing client, absolutely loved them. Saw him every 3 weeks. It was an old English sheepdog. The parents were amazing. They were sponges. They absorbed all the information I gave them about how to maintain him, and they did such a phenomenal job. The problem was that the only training he was getting was basic etiquette training for like enjoyable walks. He's an old
Yeah.
English sheepdog. He is an animal. He is a working animal designed to protect and herd. And he was given training for a house pet. And for him to have a functional, cooperative life, he needs to know his place. He does need the foundational skills of, you're a farm animal. This is your place. You don't back talk. You do the thing. And they didn't know that. And unfortunately, I didn't find out that was, even though I kept asking, I didn't find out that was the only training he was getting. And I was very verbose of like, hey, he's having some behaviors that are beyond grooming. This is not okay. Hey, he's bitten me a few times. All these things. And I'm like, let me talk to your trainer. Who's your trainer? What's going on? Oh, we'll tell the trainer. So it wasn't until I got to the point where I needed to fire him that I finally had a conversation with his trainer. And she's like, oh, I didn't realize that. And it's like, we need to come together. And PSA for trainers, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but I do think it's your responsibility to be like, I know this is what you want, but this is also what you need. And the ability to say, this is not a doodle. This is an old English sheepdog. We'll do that stuff. Absolutely. But we need to do this first. And I think that's where the pet parents got let down, because they didn't do their research and they didn't know. And so, not to just go off on a whole thing about this, but this one really affected me because I really loved that dog. But he was referred to me by other people who were like, nope, no more. And these are the things that we need to have these conversations about. We need to have these conversations with trainers, with veterinary. I did. Before I decided to fire him, I had a parent-teacher conference with his mom a couple of times. I invested in blackout curtains for the van, like all these things. And I talked to a handful of vets. I talked to breeders. I talked to all this before I could make an informed decision. And to add to your professional title as a groomer, it's these kind of things that we can do to set ourselves apart and really be that village, be that community, as you're talking about, to come together. And you were literally putting it all in somebody's lap in one location. Like, yeah, that's incredible. Like, everybody who cares about investing in their profession, in their personal education, who are looking for new friends. I mean, come on, we're in Bill's territory. And as courteous as Janelle is, this was originally supposed to happen back in November, but the location is right down the road from the Bills stadium. And there was a Bills game that weekend. She was that courteous. She was like, yeah, I get it. Nope. So like, she's really thought this through about all the logistics. There's a lot of hotels nearby where this is. So it's really easy access. It's not on a Bills game day weekend or anything. So like, this is such an amazing, unique opportunity. Like, y'all better be like hitting the ticket button now. Like, this is awesome.
So I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because I had a couple of people ask me, they're like, well, this was originally scheduled in November. Why is it been rescheduled?
You're welcome.
And I'm like, well, okay, we had booked this prior to the bill schedule being out. And then we found out there was the Bills Miami game at home. Our venue is literally a mile down the road from the stadium. Nobody's sitting there. And to be honest, I don't even want to be there. I have to watch the Bills, I'm part of the Bills Mafia, homegrown, so, and it doesn't work here in Buffalo, New York. Our Bills are number one, and that's what we do. So, that's the reason why we had to change it. If anybody's wondering, is because of football. So,
but like, for real, you're welcome too, because even if you're not a Bills fan, you wouldn't want to deal with the traffic I mean, us Buffalonians, we're kooky and we're fun. When it's a Bills game, we're extreme. We're famous for that. And that might scare a lot of you away. And we get that. So also, for those of you who don't like traffic and don't want to be scared by table pulverizer jumpers and all that kind of stuff, also, you're welcome.
Yeah. Of course, anybody, any type of football fan is welcome. Any type of sports fan is welcome. We are a sports town though, but yes, everybody is welcome. But I wanted to go back real quick to I believe you said it was a sheepdog that you were working with. And Yeah, they weren't getting so the proper, with their trainer, they needed to be herded and, everything like herd.
Yeah.
And so as again, a newer groomer, couple of years in, thinking back to prior to, I never even realized before learning that there were all these different groups
Hmm.
of dogs that needed different things
Hmm.
to, stimulate them, to,
Yep.
keep their minds busy, to tire them out, to keep them
Yeah.
out of trouble, to, everything like that. A lot of people can't also afford the trainers to have too. So this, if you can get in to have a class, it's getting dark, the sun's going down. Let me turn a light on. Um, to afford a class, this is also a great spot for those people. That's why I lowered the class prices, and I'm still giving the discount on top of it, to come in and you can learn a little bit more about your dog and what is the best thing. If they're chewing up your couch and your shoes, okay, there's something that they're not getting. They're not getting whether it be enough exercise, whether, if they're, they need their brain stimulated more or something. This is the place to get into that nitty gritty and ask these questions and be like, well, I need to give my dog the best life, and I'm trying. I can't afford the trainer, so that's why I am here, or, anything. Come to the open round table, come to the Saturday night mingle and just have a regular talk there with somebody. You never know who you're going to network with and meet. And, I know a lot of people in this industry, we just want to help. We just want to help. I know that I have given discounts on my grooms because I have, a couple that is unexpectedly expecting, and they need to keep up on their dog. And I know that they're in a financial pinch. So I have something worked out with them because they need to keep that dog, taken care of. It's more important to me that your dog is taken care of and that you're learning and everything is, up to par. Then, and I know a lot of people will work that out with you also. So yeah, come to this, and people want to share and help. So
And what's also nice about that too is, while there are some bigger name speakers that are going to be here, even for the smaller name speakers, myself included, um, there is so much more access to us. Um,
yes,
and it's understandable too, because there's some certain big names that can go to teach, and they make themselves available for what they can. But the reality is, because they're famous, because they're so popular, they simply don't have enough time or availability to answer the bombardment of other people. So having lesser known speakers, just because they're lesser known doesn't mean that they have less knowledge. And it's a lot more accessible to sit down and be like, yeah, you guys want to go grab coffee? Like, I've got like 3 hours before my next, class. Like, let's go talk. Let's have, it's so much more accessible. So that's another thing when people are like price versus value. This, I see a time where this is going to be on par with the bigger name shows when it starts gaining traction and people realize how much value is right here. And there will be a time accordingly where you won't have that access because other people have caught on. So like, it's like getting in the ground floor, the, new adopters for technology. Like, this is your way to get a bunch of questions answered with people who have the time and the availability to do so. And this is really exciting. So
it is. It is. There's a lot going on, and
so much.
to process. It's like I said, it's a big thing that Buffalo has never seen before, and I don't know if everybody can comprehend everything that's going on, because I can't even comprehend it, and I'm putting it together.
Girl, I
So
don't know how you handle putting it together. Like I can barely keep, my couple of things going straight. And you're just like, oh, I'm in 50 directions, but life's great.
yeah. Yeah, I have to give a shout out to my husband. My husband is my rock and and he actually keeps my mind straight because he said, he's like, this is all you've been talking about. I'm like, I'm sorry, but he keeps me organized and like, so yeah, my sorry, he just came running in and was like
Husband radar. What?
yeah, yeah, husband radar. So yeah, he's really just like he's my support. He's my biggest cheerleader. Um, so yeah, but this is just a huge vision that I've had, and it's coming together, and I'm just riding the wave, and whoever wants to jump on with me and join the journey, I welcome you all, and I hope that everybody just comes and ask for me. I want to meet you all, and thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Oh,
that's yeah,
yes. Thank you. Thank you. Like not just Buffalo, but the whole grooming community needs
yeah,
this. So do the trainers and the vet techs and the nutritionists, which
and
I'm sure is why they jumped on this. They're like, yes, yes, I will absolutely do this. I want this. Like,
yeah,
this is so needed. I am going to boldly speak on behalf of the entire grooming community. And when I say thank you, we have been waiting for you. We need you. We need this. And I am so excited to see this happen, let alone honored to be part of it. Like this, as soon as you like mentioned it to me, I was like, yes, yes, I'm all in. Like, what do we got to do? This is amazing. And then it just keeps getting better. So, it's, you won't regret it. Buffalo's amazing. Plus, hello, if you've never been here, go to Niagara Falls. Just go.
yeah,
Get it out of
yeah.
your system. It's great. It's wonderful. No, but my gosh, thank you. I know this discussion's been amazing. I cannot wait to get this up and loaded. Is there anything else? I'm going to post everything in the show notes when this gets posted about like how to contact you, where the tickets
Yeah.
are, all that stuff. If you have seen this kind of posted in some of the big groomer groups now, you're probably like, I don't know what that is. Now you know. Go in, follow the links, reach out to Janelle or myself. All of her information is going to be in here. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about real quick, or anything else you want people to know before we sign off?
No, I just need the support. I want people to come. I want to be able to give these charities. I want to be able to give the knowledge. I want, people to come reach out with me with questions, reach out, whatever ideas, anything. I'll try my best to, make it happen for you. We're only 3, maybe 4 weeks away. We have to pre-register for your classes because I cannot do at the door. There's too much going on for the first time. There's a lot of learning curve too. So
Yeah.
thank you for your patience and understanding with this. But yeah, there's certain things that just have to be in place. So pre-register for your classes. I said, we did huge discounts on this, and let's do this. Come and have some drinks and shop, and let's laugh and break some bread together. So yeah, it'll be
I
fun.
love it.
Yeah.
And for all of you complainers out there, one of the things I love about new things is if you don't have the guts or the wherewithal or the means to be like Janelle and be like, screw it, I'm going to do it myself. Which not everybody does. So if there's something that you're like, well, I don't like this about it, or I don't like that. When you get in on the ground floor, that's your ability to be like, oh, hey, this is new. Here's a suggestion, or here's what I would have liked to see. And guess what? That has such a greater impact on, okay, maybe you didn't see it happen at the first ever, but maybe your suggestion came across because there's not as many people. Oh, you know what? We don't have this big, massive machine that's rolling that we can't tweak. So maybe your suggestion can be taken into consideration much and turned into the operations much faster. So, I mean, that's like the software I use as a mobile groomer. I opted for something that was kind of brand new, because being one of the first mobile groomers on my software, they listen to my feedback because I'm one of a few. And so I might have some challenges right now, like with waiting for things, but I have the bigger picture. And when you come to these things, a lot of times we're looking like this. If we come to it open, not only do you have more of an influence, but you're more receptive to things that you didn't know that you were necessarily going to receive. And you can either take that as broad and massive, or as minute as you want to take that statement. But I really believe that there is something for everybody with Petpalooza. And I don't think anybody's too good or not good enough for it. I think that it is, and with anything, you're going to get what you put out. And if you come with an open mind, you are going to receive tenfold than what you even expected to receive. So I am so excited for this. Thank you, Janelle, for, those of you watching or listening to this have no idea, but this was like our third attempt at recording this today. It's been a day. But if you gain anything from this podcast, we are tenacious. We are excited about what we are doing. We're passionate, and Janelle, your passion extends in ripples throughout the community. I mean, it hit me before I ever even knew you. So just thank you so much for being here, for doing what you're doing. And I know I'll be texting you back and forth before all this happens, but I cannot wait to see you again and give you a big hug. And let's do this, people. Petpalooza, February 23rd and 24th, 22nd. It's the
22nd and 23rd.
22nd and 23rd. It's that weekend that incorporates those two numbers.
Yeah.
We will see you there.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.